So let's take that a step further, because Dean and Dolly brought up at the beginning that we also, as faculty, have the pressure to be able to, as we see it, prepare students. Anyone who's heard me speak about this subject knows that I'm in agreement with you, but there is an argument that to be able to prepare students, we also have to prepare them for what companies are theoretically going to want in the future. And that part of what they're going to want is the ability to know how to use these systems, prompt these systems, do stuff with these systems. What might you say to that idea about what do we do about getting people ready to be trained in or used for whatever these systems are going to look like in terms of AI, GenAI?
All right, raise your hand if you've used the Segway. One. Okay. Many years ago, there was a large media push that Segways would change the way that urban planning was done. It was all over the media. It was the New York Times, CNN, CNBC. Segway, 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 Segway. We're all going to ride Segways. This is how we're no more walking. There were genuinely, my father's in public housing, there was literally pushes within government to be like, oh, I got to make sure. It wasn't quite as egregious, but preparing students for this does not mean saying you have to use it. And also, I've looked into every prompt engineering thing under the sun, and I think it's all very silly, because what prompt engineering means is the models are not good enough to understand you. They need to train you to use them. So, not speaking about anyone specific or any specific institution, but there are some institutions run by people that do not have a direct connection to learning, writing, or even AI. But they watch CNBC. They see Sam Altman, Clammy Sam Altman going on about how we'll have AGI in 2026 or 2027 or 2028. And those are all predictions he's made. They hear this and they have pressure from, I imagine, people on the board. They have people who say, you've got to do this. So my view is that if universities don't want people using ChatGPT, they shouldn't be teaching people how to prompt, because that's kind of like giving someone a gun and then poking them in the head aggressively and be like, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? What a surprise, the students in this for-profit institution that is increasingly divorcing them from actual learning and academia are using the tool that they're being pressured to use, and they're being told that if they don't use, they'll lose their job. So I think the problem is that you, people like you and people in your position, are having the problem of the top-down push of these people who are disconnected from the entire process, who have people in there going, yeah, AI. It's doing this. Aren't you amazed by it? They can't tell you what they're amazed by, but good Lord, are they amazed. And I realize this sounds kind of sarcastic, but you must understand, I know this sounds like a tangent, I swear it isn't, how software is sold. You may think, well, a software company sells software to people based on how good it is. No. Especially with the university, you sell to the CIO or the CTO. You sell to that person, or you sell to someone very high up, dean level perhaps, or even higher than whatever. Forgive me for not knowing the academic structures. You then go to that person, you take them out for lunch, you say, well, I'll do you a deal. For example, Cal State University, $50 million contract with ChatGPT, works out to about $2.50 a month per student. That was also a terrible deal for OpenAI. They lost a bunch of money. It existed to do a press release. That deal was signed by people that are decades out of the college system, that do not teach people, that do not care about writing, that do not care about anything. The people making that push are not using it. And if you want to push back at them, I think it's real simple. Have them justify it to you. I know that this is not possible sometimes when it's your boss, but it's... The justifications do not exist. The actual, and I guarantee you when you do that, they will come up and say, well, Amazon Web Services lost money. Well, you know, it's the early days. It's not the early days. It's not the early days at all. Oh, well, it'll get better. No, it won't. When? How? How will it get better? What will better look like? Because if the answer is, well, we need to make sure they use it so that it can write for them, a student is reasonable in asking why they're here at all. Like, oh wait, so I need to prepare this system that invalidates my college learning experience? I think on an institutional level, it's easy to blame the students for this, when it really is an institutional failure that goes right to the top and focuses entirely on the weaknesses of administrations both inside and outside of education.